Welcome back, it's me Lou. I'm here today for another short toy haul video. First off, I purchased these excellent toys at one of my favorite collectible toy stores, Wax Packs, Records, and Toys, located in beautiful Roselle, Illinois. If you happen to be in the Chicagoland area, check this place out. I love it. Alright, so during a recent outing to Wax Packs, I picked up these two sets of action figures. First off, let's take a look at this guy right here. And what we have here is the Jakks Pacific WrestleMania 15 Signature Series 3, and we have Stone Cold Steve Austin. Alright, so one thing that's crazy about this action figure is that it has the original price tag from Walmart right up here in the corner, and it's priced at $4.96. That is crazy. I can't imagine paying that cheap for an action figure. But then again, this came out in 1998. I used to collect the Jakks wrestlers way back when. So during this time period in the late 90s, I was in college. And I was really big into WWF at the time. And I remember like every morning before I'd get to class, I'd always stop by Toys R Us and look for the new figures. And it was always such a treat if I could find like a new wave before class or whatever. And you know, for me, when I saw this toy at Wax Packs, it was like a no-brainer. I had to buy it. This really takes me back. I used to have, I think, almost all these action figures way back in the day, but you know, my stupid brain at some point, I think I just threw them all out. I don't know. I think it was one of those odd things where at the time I never thought of them as being collectible. I just bought them more so because I was so into wrestling. But then at a certain point in time, I think I kind of felt the need to like grow up. And I think a girl kind of entered the picture also. And I think I was done collecting toys for a little bit. And unfortunately, you know, many of these figures were thrown out. And then flash forward, you know, some 20 years later, I'm actually back, you know, recollecting some of these. It's not like I'm out to get every figure I used to have, but if I could find a figure nice, especially mint on card, I'll pick it up. You know, I have such fond memories of all these different series. Like this figure in particular, belongs to the Signature Series. So it seemed like it was like an easy cash grab for Jakks. You know, they take a figure that already existed, and then somewhere on the action figure, like for example on Stone Cold's vest, they would just slap on his signature. For me right now, I don't really mind. You know, not that I'm trying to collect all these Jakks figures, but you know, if I could have like a handful of them, I wouldn't mind having them mint on card. And for me, having a Stone Cold figure, you know, this really encapsulates that specific era of WWF, you know, the Attitude Era. Especially with Stone Cold being like the big, you know, flagship character at the time. The package design, it's very simple. It's a large, oversized card, WrestleMania 15 logo. Nice, iconic image of Stone Cold from back in the day. The figure comes with an action figure stand, and as you can kind of see, it's the WWF Attitude scratch logo. And we looked at the back already. You know, here's just some of the different waves. Here are some other figures in the Signature Series. We have Stone Cold, Taker, Triple H, The Rock, Jacqueline, and Edge. We have Superstars Series 7, Val Venus, Undertaker, X-Pac, Edge, Stone Cold, and Dr. Death. And we have Fully Loaded. So yeah, I don't know, this line of action figures, it was great. What was fantastic at the time is that Jakks, you know, they'd release multiple waves at once. So, you know, at any given point, you could be out there collecting, you know, 3 to 4 different waves. And, you know, the nice thing was all the figures kind of fit within, you know, they're all this kind of the same body style, the same scale. So it was just kind of nice, you know, you always had options. There was always something new that you didn't get yet. And, you know, there'd be subtle variations, you know, some gimmicks, like, for example, the Signature Series. And a lot of times you'd get repainted figures, like, for example, These two Undertakers are actually the same mold. The only thing different is their color scheme. Yeah, it was just a fun time to collect wrestling figures, and I'm very nostalgic for this era. And if you're kind of curious what a figure like this is like, actually I have two Stone Cold figures with me right now. So this one is essentially the same guy as this one. The only subtle difference is that his beard is a lighter color and he's missing the vest. I believe I bought this figure secondhand, and I'm not sure if the vest was missing when I bought it. But these are very, very, very plain figures. They probably stand in at about 5.5 inches tall, and they have a bone crunching gimmick. So underneath all this plastic, not in the torso, but more specifically the arms and legs, if you bend them, there's like a metal wire in here, and it kind of makes like a crunching noise. But it didn't always work, and due to the age of this, I don't want to try messing around with it. I don't want to break it. But yeah, this is a very basic figure back in the day. They're very playable also. You know, they might not be like highly articulated, but they can really take a beating, especially if you're like a little kid. And then here's another Stone Cold. This one's in a t-shirt and jeans. As you can see, different sculpt. And back then with Jakks, they were notorious for giving you very different head sculpts. And sometimes it looked like the wrestler, sometimes it wouldn't. You know, this was before the age of like real scan technology. But they were nice. You know, these figures were affordable, they were fun, easy to play with. So that's Stone Cold. Okay, so let's move along to the main events. And the other thing I picked up at Wax Packs was this. This is the Batman and Robin Guardians of Gotham City. So this is from the Batman Forever toy line. And, or wait, no, Batman, I stand correct. This is from the Batman and Robin toy line, not Batman Forever. So this was from one of the Joel Schumacher Batman movies. And from my understanding, I think this 2-pack is actually hard to come by. You know, when I purchased this at Wax Packs, Aaron, the owner of the shop, was telling me that I'm not sure if this is necessarily a rare figure set, but he was telling me how this is something that's kind of difficult to find on the secondary market, especially mint on card. I did some hunting around on eBay, and that kind of seems to be the case. Like in the sold listings, you know, this thing is sold for mint on card anywhere between like $60 to like maybe $75. The figures loose could retail, go for about maybe like $30 a piece. And I have no memory of this in the stores because I used to collect this toy line back in the day, and I'm not sure if I just have no memory of it, or maybe I forgot about it, or you know, if it was just hard to find back then. But for me, as a collector and as a fan of Batman and Robin, you know, anytime I could find like a 2-pack with both characters, I'm always all on board. I always think the 2-packs are great. And we have Batman and Robin. They're both in black and chrome body armor. As you can see, they come with these giant oversized weapons, which look like kind of like a variation of like the Batarangs. Nice large display stand. Really cool illustration. And on the back, we talks about the figures a little. This is Covert Strike Cape ability. So there's a nice lengthy description about these characters. And then here's some other figures in the wave. We have Talon Strike Robin, Ambush Assault Batman. We have a 2-pack, A Cold Night in Gotham City with Batman versus Mr. Freeze. We have a handful of vehicles, which is great. Growing up back then, it seems like, you know, they weren't shy about giving us lots and lots of vehicles. You know, nowadays we do get vehicles for some toy lines, but never to the extent that we did back in the 80s and 90s. And with most Batman figures from back then, they would always give you, like, the variations of Batman with all the weird gimmicks and body armors. Like over here we have Battleboard Batman, Thermal Shield Batman, Wing Blast Robin. So none of these characters actually appeared in the films, but it was just, you know, if you're a kid, it's just cool. You know, these are very decorative action figures with really fun play features. We have the Batman and Robin Batmobile. Now this is something I'm kind of on the hunt for if I could find one nice. It doesn't necessarily have to be mint in box, but even if I could find a loose one, I'd love to have this Batmobile. And here's some other Batmans: Blastwing Batman, Glacier Battle Robin, and Ice Terror Mr. Freeze. So yeah, this really takes me back. There's a Batman Forever 2-pack with Batman and Robin. I used to have it back in the day, and I sold it, and that's something I might consider like hunting down in the near future. I think it'd be a great piece to complement my Batman movie line, especially from the Kenner like line of action figures. Yeah, so these are pretty cool. See if we get an up close look at them. So back then, these figures were never about like 20 points of articulation. These were very, very limited. You're looking at 5 points of articulation, the neck, the arms, and the legs. That's really it. But if you're a kid, you have your imagination, to like fuel your like play sessions. And back then, they offered so many accessories, so many characters, so many play sets, vehicles, everything. So you just, you could really run the gamut in terms of your like play sessions if you're like a little kid. All right, so let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. I greatly appreciate it. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. All right, later.